Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
And I hope most of the students have joined. Let's get started. Everybody has opened the history book, like history chapter. Kids, please keep your cameras on so that we can start.
Ma'am, which chapter?
Chapter 6, The Rise of
Ma'am,
Empires,
which
Part 1.
chapter?
Chapter 6, Pihu.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Open chapter number 6. Keep your cameras on. Sanvi, Pihu, Riya, Tashi, Sanskriti, Urja, Gyanya, Harsh, Agre, Shan, and Athar. Keep your cameras on.
Ma'am, we are doing chapter 6, right?
Yes, you're doing chapter 6, part 1. Riya, Agre, Harsh, everyone. Athar, cameras on, beta. Gyanya, Tashi, Sanskriti, Ishan, Mishra. I can't see you. Okay. Harsh, Tashi, Riya, Ayush. Buck up. Chaliye. So today we'll be starting a new chapter that is The Rise of Empires Part 1. Okay? So now there are a lot of sayings we keep on listening every day. Jaisi karni, वैसी भरनी, this and that. ऐसे there is one
Ma'am, which
saying.
chapter?
Chapter number 6. Okay. So ऐसे there is an idea, right? So हम कहते हैं that the big fish eats the small fish. बड़ी मछली छोटी मछली को खाती है. ठीक है. इसको हम law of the fish भी कहते हैं, right? And ये जो law है, it describes as a world where the strong dominates the weak. मतलब दुनिया में ऐसा चलता आ रहा है that the strong person is going to always dominate the weaker one. Then, and your survival also depends upon your strength. And it is said that the might is right. The one who's stronger is said to be the rightest. Right? जो strong और powerful होता है उसकी बात लोग मानते हैं, जो weak होता है उसकी बात लोग नहीं सुनते हैं. Are you getting my point? ठीक है. So यहाँ पे एक big fish का एक metaphor यूज किया जाता है. In the 6th century BCE, the Indian subcontinent was much like a vast pond brimming with big fishes. Can you tell me which were those big fishes? यहाँ पे the big fishes has been used as a metaphor to describe whom? Please keep your cameras on. I don't like to teach screens.
Ma'am, Mahajanpads.
Yeah, yes, Arnav.
Ma'am, Mahajanpads.
The Mahajanapads, the new empires which were coming up, right? So it's like much vast one. There were 16 Mahajanapadas, each trying to grow bigger and swallow its neighbors. Like you must have read in class 6, I have told you as well, while teaching chapter number 1, that there was this concept of Ashwamedh Yagna, right? जहाँ पे they used to send one horse to the other kingdom, right? And then a fight used to happen and then they used to capture the another kingdom. So these kingdoms abhi kya hai? Nowadays we have our fixed boundaries. We have a this is our area and nobody is trying to capture anybody's areas. That's why people are living peacefully, right? But back in the time, that was their own motive. In order to grow the resources, they used to capture each other's land, right? So, wars were frequent, alliances were shifted quickly, and no power remained secure for long. So, this is what we are going to read in this chapter, that how these empires came to power. जो इतने नए नए empires आए थे वो power में कैसे आए थे हम सबसे पहले पढ़ेंगे the rise of Magad, right? So, read from the second page. Advait.
I'm married after Advik.
Rise of
Vatsaya, yeah. Long ago, King
Advait, you have to
Manu
read
was
from I think you have to read from Rise of Magad.
next page.
Yes.
Manjanta as the perfect conditions to grow into the big fish, strongest Mahajanpada and swallow, defeat his neighbors. It was due to the following factor.
Magad.
Magadha
We call
was
it Magad. We pronounce it as Magad.
Magad was located in the gigantic basin where the
In the
soil was
Gangetic
very
Basin,
fertile.
not Gangetic, we call it the Gangetic Basin.
Gangetic basin where the soil was very fertile and yield rich harvests. Land revenue was high
Land
and
revenue
it
was
provided
high. Land revenue
high
was high.
and it provides a large income for the kingdom. This enables the rulers to maintain a large and powerful army.
Okay,
The
stop here,
trick
Advait.
was
So, guys, you might have read and understood that we are saying that back in the time, the one kingdom which had all the opportunities and all the facilities available to become the big fish or to become the stronger and mightier power, right, and eat up the nearby kingdoms was Magad. क्यों था ऐसा? Because Magad was located in the Gangetic Basin. पता है कोई मुझे बता सकता है where is this Gangetic Basin? Can anyone tell me which part of the country is known as the Gangetic Basin?
Ma'am, Ganga Plain.
Very good,
yes,
Arnab.
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Bihar.
Ganga Plains, right? The area including यूपी, बिहार, राइट? ये सब क्या कहलाए जाते हैं? These are known as the Ganga plain, right? So it was a Gangetic plain जो कि उस वहाँ और वो इतना important क्यों था? Because it was one of the most fertile regions of the nation, right? सबसे ज्यादा fertile region था वो जहाँ पे बहुत अच्छे crops grow होती थी, right? वहाँ पे उन्हें बहुत अच्छे हार्वेस्ट मिलते थे क्योंकि वहां पे क्रॉप्स अच्छी होती थी, वहाँ का सॉइल बहुत फर्टाइल था, दैट इज वाई वहां पे लैंड रेवेन्यू भी बहुत ज्यादा था एंड विच प्रोवाइडेड लार्ज इनकम फॉर द किंगडम, जिसकी वजह से किंगडम को बहुत अच्छी इनकम मिलती थी एंड रूलर्स एक अच्छी आर्मी मेंटेन कर पाते, राइट? अयांश, रीड द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. See, Ayansh is lost in his own world. He has no idea where are we reading.
From point 2.
Ma'am,
Yes, point two,
We have to
Ayansh.
read from point 2. The thick forests supplied timber and elephants. Timber was used to build houses, forts, and chariots. Elephants were deployed in the army.
Can anyone tell me the meaning of timber? What does timber mean?
a type of tree.
wood.
Yes, who said? Pihu. Timber means a type of wood. Very good, Pihu. Right? Timber का मतलब क्या है? लकड़ी. Right? So, यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छे, यहाँ पे ना ही तो सिर्फ मगध में बहुत fertile soil था. Along with the fertile soil, Magad also had very rich, thick forest. यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा अच्छे forest भी थे, जहाँ से elephants के साथ साथ लकड़ी भी ट्रांसपोर्ट की जाती थी, ट्रेड भी किया जाता था उसका. टिम्बर को यूज करते थे अपने घर, फॉरेस्ट, चैरियट्स बनाने के लिए लोग. एंड एलिफेंट्स की वो यूज टू बी हायर डिप्लॉयड इन दी आर्मी. क्लियर? देवांशी.
Magad also had large deposits of copper and iron ore. These were used to make agriculture implements, tools, and weapons.
राइट, मगध में बहुत डिपॉजिट है फॉरेन का, कॉपर और आयरन ओर के भी. There was a lot of huge deposits of copper and iron ore in Magad, right? That is why they were also ready to make good agricultural implements, tools, and other weapons. Yes, Trishi, read next point.
Magad enjoyed a favorable geographical location. Their old capital, Rajgriha, was surrounded by hills on all sides. The new river Patliputra was situated along the river Ganga. They acted as a natural barriers against any attack on the kingdoms. Four dynasties ruled Magad between 545 and 187 BCE. Let us read about them.
Right, so then she has said that यहाँ पे it was very fertile, it had rich forests, right? And it had a good revenue system. Because of this, it enjoyed great geographical location. क्या हो गया Anya? Is everything good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I request the others also to keep their cameras open. Agra, Sanvi, Urja, Pihu, Ayush, Riya, Tashi, Sanskriti, Harsh, Ishan, Vikas, Alisha, and Sakshan. Kindly keep your cameras open. Okay, so Magad की जो geographical condition थी, that was also perfect, right? Then what happened? उनका जो पहला पुराना कैपिटल उसका नाम था राजगृह. ये राजगृह के चारों तरफ क्या थे? There were hills on all sides, right? And the new capital, which was called Patliputra, was situated along the river Ganga. वो river के पास था. So ये जो rivers हो गई या फिर hills हो गए, so these things have acted as natural barriers, right? जिसकी वजह से कोई भी किंगडम में डायरेक्ट अटैक करने नहीं आ पाता था, या तो उन्हें हिल क्रॉस करके आना पड़ता था या फिर रिवर क्रॉस करके आना पड़ता था, which used to serve as a barrier in their transport journey, right? So there were four dynasties which have ruled the Magad kingdom. Let's read about them. The first dynasty is Haryanka dynasty. Amen.
The first important ruler of the Hayanka dynasty was Bimbisara. He made Rajgriha his capital. He expanded the kingdom through
What was Mughal, what were specialities, who's the important ruler of which dynasty, all these things should be marked. Ishan Mishra, where is your book?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am, may I continue?
Yes, guys.
He made Rajgriha his capital. He expanded the kingdom through conquests and by marrying princesses of powerful kingdoms such as Kosala, Vaishali, and Mathura. He conquered Anga, which had a river port called Champa. It was an important center of trade and commerce.
Okay, so
Bimbisara
the
was
period
succeeded.
dynasty is the rule kiya, it was named the Haryanka dynasty. You know the meaning of dynasties? Can anyone tell me the meaning of dynasties?
Ma'am, it is like a thing like ruled by kings and like queens. It's like a reign basically.
A bloodline which rules a kingdom.
क्या बोल गया? A bloodline which rules a kingdom. Absolutely correct, Ishan. Right?
Excuse me,
So
ma'am.
what is a dynasty? It's a bloodline which rules a kingdom. यानी कि उसी परिवार के सारे लोग उस kingdom को rule करते रहेंगे. जैसे कि can you give me any example of a dynasty in the recent years of political history of
Ma'am,
India?
Mauryan dynasty.
Yes, Om?
Ma'am, Mauryan dynasty.
Mauryan dynasty was there. And over today's politics, बहुत पुरानी बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. Today's politics.
Kim dynasty.
The Gandhis, right? इंदिरा गांधी, राजीव गांधी, सोनिया गांधी की फैमिली ने जो रूल किया ना, हेरिडिटरी रूल हो गया एक तरीके से. वैसे ऑल्दो वो तो वोटिंग से हुआ, बट स्टिल. सो पहले क्या होता था, देयर यूज्ड टू बी, अब फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव रेड दिस, राइट, दैट इन अ किंगडम इट वाज अ हेरिडिटरी किंगशिप, दैट राजा का बेटा ही राजा बनता, राइट. सो द वन इम्पोर्टेंट रूलर ऑफ दिस हरियंका डायनेस्टी वाज बिम्बिसारा, राइट. एंड इसने राजगृह को अपना कैपिटल बनाया एंड उसने अपने किंगडम को बहुत एक्सपेंड किया, बहुत सारी लड़ाइयां लड़ लड़के, राइट, बाय मैरिंग प्रिंसेस ऑफ पावरफुल किंगडम्स सच एज कोसला, वैशाली एंड मदुरा. जो और पावरफुल किंगडम्स है जहाँ वो लड़ाई नहीं कर पाए, वहां पे उन्होंने उनकी बेटियों से शादी कर दी. कि अब वो किंगडम धीरे धीरे उसका भी हो जाएगा, राइट. ही कॉन्कर्ड Anga, which had a river port called Champa. River port तो उस टाइम पे लग्जरी था, because river port से ही सारा ट्रेड होता था, right? So it was an important center of trade and commerce. इसलिए उसने उस एरिया को ऑक्यूपाई किया क्योंकि चंपा जो था वो ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सेंटर था. ठीक है. अन्य, read next.
Ma'am, I have to read from Sheshunga dynasty.
बिम्बिसारा वाला पैराग्राफ.
Bimbisara was succeeded by his son Ajat-Shatru. Like his father, he too followed policy of conquest and expansion. He defeated the king of Kosala and occupied Kashi. Under Ajat-Shatru, Magad grew even more powerful. Ajat-Shatru was succeeded by weak ruler.
Okay. Right. So what happened is, after Bimbisara, who came into power? It was Ajat Shastru, जो उसका बेटा है. Right. Then what did he do? उसने भी same policy follow की अपने father वाले. उसने भी बहुत expansion किया, wars लड़ी, सब कुछ किया. Right. And he became the king. He defeated the policy of conquest and expansion. He defeated the king of Kosala and occupied Kashi as well. So under Ajatashatru, Magad became even more powerful, and but after Ajatashatru, the rulers which came were not as powerful as either them or Bimbisara. So hence, it was the coming dynasties were of weak rulers. Okay. Next is Shashunga dynasty. Swasti, read. Try it out, Swasti. Swasti, read it, beta. Rudra, you read.
Shashunga dynasty.
1413 to 345 BCE. In 413 BCE, Shishunga became the ruler of Magdha. The Sheshunga dynasty is named after him. Kalashoka was his son and successor. Shishunga and his successors ruled for about 50 years. They were overthrown by the Nandas.
राइट। सो शशुंगा डायनेस्टी का जो नाम पड़ा वो उसके रूलर के नाम पे पड़ा, इसका नाम था शिशुंगा। शिशुंगा के नाम पर डायनेस्टी का नाम पर क्या पड़ा? शशुंगा। राइट। सो शशुंगा जो था वो ठीक था, मतलब नॉट एज पावरफुल एज प्रीवियस वंस। सो उसने क्या किया, उसने अपने ही एम्पायर को रन किया। आगे जाके उसके सक्सेसर्स उन्होंने रूल किया। सो दे स्टेड फॉर 50 years and later on they were overthrown by the Nandas. They were not as powerful as the previous rulers. Yes, Pooja, read next. Pooja, keep your camera on. Read.
Nanda dynasty, 345 to 321 BCE. The Nandas, led by Mahapadma Nanda, established a large kingdom. However, we do not know much about Mahapadmananda and his successors. The last ruler of this dynasty was Dhanananda. He was very unpopular among his subjects. Chandragupta Maurya overthrew Dhanananda and established the Mauryan dynasty.
Okay, thank you, Pooja. So बताएगा जो नंदा डायनेस्टी आई थी। नाउ दे वर लेड बाय महापद्म नंदा, इन्होंने बहुत बड़ा किंगडम स्टैब्लिश किया। बट राइट, दे डिड नॉट नो मच अबाउट दिस महाजनपद। उन्हें इसके बारे में नहीं पता इसके क्या पर्क्स हैं, क्या नहीं है, कैसे प्रोटेक्ट करना है, कैसे रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट करना है। दे हैड नो आइडिया। राइट। सो हाउएवर वी डू नॉट नो मच अबाउट दीज महापद्मनंदा, राइट, एंड हिज सक्सेसर्स। राइट। दीदी, एक मिनट। दीदी, दीदी, ओके। सो बट स्टिल हमें पता है कि इन्होंने मतलब रूल तो किया, बहुत लंबे समय तक नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि दे वर वेरी अनपॉपुलर। धनानंदन का लास्ट रूलर, ही वाज वेरी अनपॉपुलर अमंग हिज सब्जेक्ट्स। अभी हम डेमोक्रेसी में भी देखते हैं ना, अगर कोई रूलर पॉपुलर नहीं होता, मतलब उसको लोग पसंद नहीं करते हैं, सो ही वुड बी ओवरथ्रोन, लोग किसी और को इलेक्ट कर लेंगे। ऐसे ही बिकॉज हिज सब्जेक्ट्स वर नॉट वेरी हैप्पी विद हिम, राइट, which gave power to another or an modern dynasty established इसके बाद। ठीक है, चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य ने तब इसको ओवरथ्रो कर दिया। तो नेक्स्ट इज द मौर्यन डायनेस्टी। अर्नव, रीड।
Mauryan dynasty. The first ruler of the Mauryan dynasty was Chandragupta Maurya. He overthrew Nanda, the last Nanda ruler, in 321 BC. To this end, he was advised by Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. With this Chandragupta Maurya, under the guidance of Chanakya, laid the foundations of the first ever empire in India. We will read about empires in the Mauryan dynasty later in this chapter.
ठीक है, ओके। सो नाउ ही रेड अबाउट द मौर्यन डायनेस्टी। आपने सुना होगा चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य का नाम। हैव यू रेड हर्ड इट बिफोर?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? We
Yes,
all
ma'am.
know what a powerful ruler he was, right? So Chandragupta Maurya जो था वो मौर्य डायनेस्टी का पहला रूलर था, and he overthrew Dhanananda, who was the last of the Nanda dynasty, and उसके बाद से he was advised by चाणक्य, जिसको लोग कौटिल्य भी बोलते हैं। चाणक्य was his advisor, right? Also part of his army. So then अभी तक जो था Chandragupta Maurya under the guidance of Chanakya laid the foundations of the first ever empire in India, and उसके बारे में हम आगे जाके पढ़ेंगे। बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से रूल किया। उसके बाद आए ग्रीक्स नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में। यानी रीड।
Arrival of the Greeks in the northwest. Alexander became the king of Macedonia in Greece in 336 BCE. He set out to establish one of the largest empires in the world had ever seen. After conquering Asia Minor, Turkey, Syria, Egypt, and the Persian Empire, Alexander set his eyes on India. Alexander invaded India in 326 BCE At this time, northwestern India was divided into many independent kingdoms who were constantly at war with one another. Alexander defeated them easily. However, a king named Porus, who ruled the region between the Jhelum and Chenab rivers, resisted his advance. Alexander defeated Porus and then moved eastward to conquer Magad. He wanted to go further, but his soldiers refused. They were tired, homesick, and unwilling to face the powerful Magadhan army. Alexander had no choice but to retreat. He divided the territories he had conquered in India into three parts and put each under the control of a general. Alexander then returned to his homeland. He, however, never reached Macedonia. He died in Babylon in 323 BCE. After his death, infighting broke out among the Greek generals in India. Chandragupta Maurya defeated these warring Greek generals and made Maurya as the supreme power in India.
Okay. Right? So now she has given us a huge detail about, right, the arrival of Greeks in India. Right? So क्या हुआ था सबसे पहले अलेक्जेंडर बना किंग कहाँ का मैकेडोनिया का, राइट, जो कि ग्रीस में है. उसके उसको चलो ये कि नहीं, आई वांट टू गो एंड एक्सप्लोर, मतलब ही सेट आउट टू एस्टैब्लिश वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट एम्पायर्स द वर्ल्ड हैव एवर सीन. मैं सबसे बड़ा एम्पायर मैं एस्टैब्लिश करूंगा, राइट. And in order to, he had conquered Asia Minor, that's Turkey, Syria, Egypt, the Persian Empire. ये सब ऑक्यूपाई करने के बाद he came to India. Alexander also invaded India, घुस गया इंडिया में, right? And at this time, the northwestern India was already divided into many independent kingdoms, है ना? So Alexander ने क्या किया, एक एक करके उन सबको हराया. However, a named king named Porus, who ruled over the region between Jhelum and Chenab, resisted his advance. लगा नहीं, आपको आगे आने की जरूरत नहीं है, मैं आपका किंगडम नहीं दूंगा, right? So but Alexander defeated Porus and then moved northward to conquer Magad. उसने उसको भी हरा दिया. Then he wanted to go further with his soldiers, refused. उसको मतलब कि हम और आगे जाए, soldiers ने कहा भाई अब हम थक गए हैं, हमें थोड़ा रेस्ट भी तो चाहिए, कब तक लड़ते रहेंगे, right? There some were tired, some were homesick, some कह रही अब हमें फिर से मगध, like we don't want to see the powerful Magad army again. Alexander had no choice. Alexander की जो आर्मी थी वो अपनी मगध की आर्मी से लड़ ही नहीं पा रही थी. So Alexander became choiceless. He had no option left कि जब उसे जाने नहीं दे रहे हैं, आर्मी सपोर्ट नहीं कर रही, किंग भी नहीं मना रहा है, तो उसे लगा कि भाई आई थिंक इट्स टाइम फॉर मी टू गो बैक. क्या, चलो आगे बढ़े. यहाँ तक क्लियर है? कोई डाउट? एनी डाउट्स
Excuse me,
यस मिष्टी.
ma'am. Alexander, when returned to the homeland, he never reached Macedonia. He died in Babylon only. But how did he die?
Can you please repeat yourself, Krishti?
Ma'am, how did Alexander died in Babylonia without reaching Macedonia?
There were wars, there were times आप बिना पहुंचे भी, कभी आपका एक्सीडेंट हो गया, कभी कोई ड्रॉट आ गया, कभी आपको किसी एनिमी ने अटैक कर दिया. So these
मैम
things
वो
are
बहुत थके हुए थे.
हाँ जी.
मैम वो बहुत थके हुए थे.
Bite him.
मैम
Ma'am, a
वो
monkey bite him, so he died.
What, Saksha?
Ma'am, a monkey bite him, so he died.
Like I told you ना, वहाँ पे कुछ भी हो सकता है. Okay, and he died because of monkey bite. And ये जो थे इतने पावरफुल हो गए थे, अलेक्जेंडर के पास ऑप्शन नहीं था वहाँ से रिट्रीट करने का. And he divided the territories he had conquered in India into three parts, right? And सब पे अपना एक एक जनरल भेज रखा है. And Alexander then returned to his homeland. He, however, never reached Macedonia because he died after infighting broke among the Greek generals in India, right? उसकी डेथ के बाद तो ग्रीक जनरल्स आपस में लड़ने लगे, एक दूसरे से जीतना, ये करना वो करना. Maurya defeated these warring Greek generals and made Mauryas the supreme power in India. Mauryan Empire is different, this Mauryas is different. चलो इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है अलेक्जेंडर के इन्वेजन में क्या हुआ. We'll read. Agrahan, read. Agrahan,
Yes,
read
ma'am.
the impact of Alexander's invasion.
I'm from where?
Beta, from impact of Alexander's invasion, there are 4 points given.
For the first time, Europe came in close contact with India. New trade routes opened up between Europe and India. Greek historians provide details of Alexander's campaign in India, including the dates of various events. The Greeks also wrote about the social and economic conditions prevailing in the then India. Alexander's invasion weakened the small kingdoms in northwest India. This helped Chandragupta Maurya to lay the foundation of Mauryan dynasty. The cultural contact between the Greeks and the Indians gave birth to new school of art called the Gandhara School of Art in the 1st century CE.
चलिए, right? So like the 4 points which she has read about right now, उसमें हमने क्या क्या पढ़ा कि देखो उससे इम्पैक्ट है कि पहली बार ऐसा हुआ कि यूरोप केम इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद इंडिया। अभी तक यूरोप के नेशन को ऐसे कॉन्टैक्ट नहीं थे, राइट? इसकी वजह से नए ट्रेड रूट्स ओपन हुए इंडिया और यूरोप के बीच में। तो ग्रीक हिस्टोरियंस ने अलेक्जेंडर के डिवाइडेड अलेक्जेंडर की कैंपेन की बहुत डिटेल्ड information दी है। And the Greeks also wrote about the various social economic conditions which were prevailing in India back in the time. देन इससे क्या हुआ, अलेक्जेंडर इन्वेजन के बाद जो स्मॉल किंगडम्स इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया में वो और वीक हो गए, बिकॉज वहां से लोग जो थोड़ा बहुत लूट के ले गए वो ले गए। एंड दिस हेल्प चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य टू ले द फाउंडेशन ऑफ द मौर्यन डायनेस्टी। लास्ट में द कल्चरल कॉन्टैक्ट विद द ग्रीक्स एंड द इंडियंस gave birth to a new school of art called the Gandhara School of Art in the 1st century. Right? अब बात आती है कि हम एम्पायर 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 कर रहे हैं, बट एम्पायर होते क्या है? व्हाट आर दीज एम्पायर्स? राइट देवांश, रीड।
What is an empire? An empire is generally described as a vast political unit comprising many smaller kingdoms, regions, and communities. Power is held by one supreme individual who is called the emperor. However, in history, definitions are not implied in isolation, and there can never be single definition of an empire. To understand what makes a political unit an empire, we have to study the time, place, and political condition in which the empire exists.
Okay, so as he has read that an empire generally prescribes a vast political unit, बहुत बड़ी सी political unit होती है। इसमें empire जैसे कि इंडिया को कह लो राइट नाउ, ठीक है, यूपी हो गया, ओके, बिग यूनिट। देन इसमें क्या होता है, इस यूनिट में बहुत छोटे छोटे सिटीज भी होते हैं, विलेजेस भी होते हैं। बैक इन द टाइम सिटीज विलेजेस नहीं होते, क्या होता था, देयर वर किंगडम्स, देयर वर रीजन्स, देयर वर कैंप कम्युनिटीज। सो पावर वाज हेल्ड बाय वन सुप्रीम इंडिविजुअल हु इज कॉल्ड द एम्प्रेस और एम्परर। सारी पावर मोनार्की में एम्परर के पास ही होती है। हाउएवर इन हिस्ट्री द definitions are not applied in isolation. हिस्ट्री को पढ़ने का माना जाता है कि जो अकबर थे उन्होंने अपनी पावर्स को खुद को हील करने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं यूज किया, राइट? देन however history definition is not applied in isolation, and there can never be, no, we'll never be able to stuck there to feel stay where the hell we are, always exhausted, वैसे रहना कम हो। Next we have same topic, the next paragraph. Krishti, read.
Ancient India was not demarcated as it now appears on the modern map. There were no mutually agreed boundary lines. Instead, natural features such as hills, forests, rivers, and stretches of uncultivated land often served as the borders. These frontiers were fluid, that is, they expanded or contracted depending on the military victories and political alliances. Besides this, it was not always clear where a kingdom ended and an emperor began. For instance, Emperor Ashoka, one of India's first emperors, referred himself as Raja Magadha, king of Magad. despite ruling over a vast territory, while small rulers over later time controlling far less territories adopted grand titles such as Maharaja Dhiraj, Kings of King.
Very good. Very nicely read. Okay. So now what we have read is कि देखो क्या होता है यहाँ पे एंशियंट इंडिया जो था वो बहुत ही डिमार्केटेड रहता है एज अ राइट ऑन मॉडर्न मैप सबको पता है इंडिया कहाँ पे कहाँ रहता है एंड देवर नो म्यूचुअली अग्रीड बाउंड्री लाइन so अभी हम बताइए हमारी बाउंड्री लाइन है हमारी एरो सी हमारी लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल है बट पहले ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था देवर नो बाउंड्री लाइन्स एट ऑल कोई बाउंड्री लाइन्स तो होती ही नहीं राइट एंड इसकी जगह पे जो नेचुरल फीचर्स हो गए आपका हिल्स then we have other things, right? So what you can do is like वो तो हम बाद में पढ़ेंगे तो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ कि जो फ्रंटियर्स थे लाइक देवर नो मैटर बहुत अच्छा डिमार्केट है कोई मॉडर्न बाउंड्री नहीं थी कोई ग्रीड बाउंड्री लाइन्स नहीं थी इंस्टेड natural features such as hills forests rivers etc right are great then these frontiers were ruled that is very huge point, right? So what happened was that the frontiers were fluid. That is why expanded or contracted depending upon the military victories and political lines. ऐसे नहीं कि किंगडम इतना है तो इतना ही रहेगा वो किंगडम बड़ा भी हो सकता है वो किंगडम छोटा भी हो सकता है वो कितने एरियाज को कैप्चर कर रहा है कितने उसके पॉलिटिकल अलायंसेस हैं सक्षम right? So these are known as political alliances. For example, Akbar Ashoka, the first emperor, retired. Okay, so हाँ अशोका ने क्या किया अशोका referred to himself as Raja Magad, king of all. Despite ruling over a vast country, while the smaller rulers of later times, right, were kind of waiting in order to be that happy to him, right? So, Ashoka ने क्या किया? He referred himself as Raja Magada, king of Magad. While the smaller units just was trying to they could not say them. He also like they had this habit of adopting grand titles, etc., etc. So he has also adopted the name or title called Maharaja Dhiraja, that means king of the kings. Right? Back in the time, लोगों को होती थी अपने आप को खुद ही अच्छे अच्छे nickname देते थे वो. So due to these reasons, if we follow the conventional decision you can say, we might early become weak as for the society, right? उससे क्या हो जाएंगे हम weak हो जा सकते थे नहीं भी हो सकते थे हमारी society ट्रांसफॉर्म भी हो सकती थी right? Okay. So most scholars जो हैं they have proposed this process of transformation of empires as a part of class. ठीक है Oh, and one should not get carried away barely looking at the titles of the rulers. Okay, so the transformation from a kingdom to an empire required combination. अगर आपको एक basically kingdom को एक empire बनाना है, एक छोटे से kingdom को एक बड़ा सा empire बनाना है, तो आपको उसमें क्या क्या करना पड़ेगा? आपको कोई सिर्फ और सिर्फ मिलिट्री माइंड से भी नहीं चल पाएगा वो, सिर्फ और सिर्फ पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट से भी नहीं हो पाएगा. There should be a proper mix of military, economic and political development. Only then you would be able to do that. आर्मीज को डिप्लॉय किया जाता है जिससे कि वो नेबरिंग किंगडम्स को कॉन्कर कर सके राइट so that they could bring them under imperial मतलब a single control defend the borders of the empire against external threats फिर अगर आपको थ्रेट लग रहा है कि आपके किंगडम बैक पे अटैक करेगा तो आप उन्हें बचा पाओ फोर्टिफाइड सेटलमेंट मतलब बड़े बड़े फोर्ट्स बनाए जाते हैं जिससे कि लोग उसके अंदर ही रहे एक फोर्स है खुद को प्रोटेक्ट करने का तरीका होता है राइट were built. Control over rivers and trade routes gave the rulers access to valuable resources and additional revenue. In an environment of competing kingdoms, the one with the strong military and resource base often emerged as the dominant power. ठीक है? Clear?